Enemies close down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect the opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. You matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. You matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Like scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy car cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. You matter what? Add it up.
Don't unplug anything. Let's go. Clap hands there. Sinker. Professional, see? Add it in because it could be a
t-shirt in the way.
Yes, indeed.
Did you wear yours?
I know. You had to do that, didn't you?
I brought mine.
He brought his. Podcast Nation. You can do it now for Rhodri Giggs and Rhodri Giggs on Football Friday 7:30.
I'll just start it.
What's happening? Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. However, we are lacking a certain Mr. Rhodri Giggs today. Best wishes to Rhodri. He's got a bit of an injury going on. I'm sure he'll be all right. Just needs a bit of rest. Elevation of the foot, I believe, is the solution. But so between me and Rhodri, we've literally got two working legs at the moment. But it's so good. There's lots to talk about, and I toyed with the idea of not doing anything, but I feel like things. So I thought I'd definitely make sure we do a show tonight because you just never know what's around the corner. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Ace Podcast Nation, of course, you're home to many a great show and series featuring top guests, expert analysts, and more. Please do give us a follow on social media, subscribe, all that good stuff. And of course, if you like your podcasts in audio form, this series and all the other content produced by Ace Podcast Nation, available at the Sports Social Podcast Network, free of charge to download. So get involved. No Super 6 updates because the season's over, but we have got lots to talk about. For those of you who remember, it seems like ages ago, but when I used to do the shows on a Monday on my own before, heavily reliant on you guys sending questions, send subjects you want to hear an opinion on, whatever it may be. You can ask me anything, but don't want to answer it. I'll say as so, but generally I'll answer anything you like. Welcome, Lorna, Craig, Matthew, Owen, Robert, all the early ones. Well in, son. So yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff. I think we'll start on the Champions League because I don't want to spend a great deal of time on the club football because there's a lot of international football to talk about. And I've got some things to say about Scotland's performance last night and some comments from the media and some of the stuff I heard on TalkSport today. Oh my good God. But I wanted to talk about the Liverpool-Madrid game. So first and foremost, Real Madrid fully deserved it. The teams they beat to get to the final and then beat Liverpool. Liverpool are, in my opinion, one of the best teams in Europe. And I think for a portion after Christmas till probably a few weeks ago, they were the best team in club side in the world. However, they had a bit of a wobble at the wrong time. And one stat which cannot be denied is in think it's 3 cup finals this year. They haven't scored any goals. They've won 2 on penalties and lost another 1-0 to Madrid. So that's just not good enough for a team that's got as much talent in it and is free flowing as what Liverpool are. However, I think a tremendous amount of credit goes to Real Madrid, how they set up. They were outstanding defensively and clinical, mate. That Vinicius looks, what a player. Changed the game against Man City and was well taken goal versus, and he's very good versus Liverpool. The boy I like from Madrid is Camavinga. Comes off the bench a lot in the Champions League, but what a player, real good footballer. Going to be a special player. I think he's going to be the he'll be like a modernized version of Makelele, I think, in a few years for Madrid once he's fully settled in, because he is a hell of a footballer and probably a bit better going forward than Makelele. But what a player! Madrid look promising. I got to say, Man City, by the way. The more I think about the Haaland addition, like the only reason Liverpool got within a point this year is because Liverpool almost had, like, from Christmas to recently, almost like the perfect storm. They didn't lose, they weren't conceding, they were scoring loads of goals. They had an unbelievable squad. They didn't really have too many injuries. Like, it was the perfect storm, and they deserve credit. They got I think it was a 12-point gap between Man City and Liverpool at one point, and they got it down to like the last day of the season. However, I think what you've got to accept as well is that if it wasn't for Liverpool, Man City would have run away with our league because there was no one else remotely close. And add in a striker, because that's the thing which we had said, me and Rhodri discussed it in the first show of the season, like when they didn't sign Harry Kane after they'd made a bid. It's a big ask to go in without a striker. Premier League, they managed to pull it off. Champions League, it cost them because they didn't take their chances against Madrid, and Madrid come back and haunt them. This is what happens at the top level. The stuff off the pitch with Liverpool, look, everybody knows, or anyone who watches the channel has spoken to me knows I'm no Liverpool fan. I've got a severe dislike for Liverpool Football Club. However, the speed at which people in social media and fans of other clubs will try and make out that the problems and stuff, Liverpool fans and this, that, and the other, like, you only have to watch a couple of the videos to see that it was very clearly a French police issue, being overly aggressive. And I find it quite distressing as someone who watched Hillsborough unfold live on TV as a kid. I found it really distressing to see Liverpool fans like crushed in, kids panicking, parents frantically like trying to calm their kids down and stuff, and it seems as if it all stemmed from, unfortunately, a portion of Liverpool fans having fake tickets, which is obviously the risk you face when you buy tickets from unofficial places. Also some locals, by the looks of it, trying to get in free and jumping over the fences and stuff like that. But the way like the French police was tear gassing, like, not people who were causing trouble, like just people who were penned in this very small areas and couldn't get through. I find it quite upsetting. I am as a football fan, I find it quite upsetting. But as a parent, like I said to Barry yesterday on Patreon show, like, if I was with my sons, my youngest son's 13 now, but if I was with my 10, 11-year-old son and have taken him to this dream football match, and I was in that situation where you're penned in, he's panicking, you feel like if he falls, there's going to be a serious problem, or if one of you falls, you're going to get trampled. And I think a lot of those fathers and parents, and I'm sure there was mothers there too, who were able to keep their cool and not become aggressive and frustrated with the police to the point where they then get, tuned up by the police, or they get arrested, and then it's another set of problems. I saw one where they're all trying to get through the tickets turnstile, and this black guy, he stood there, and at first he seems like he's a security guard, and he takes tickets off this guy for his dad, for him and his kids, and then he just puts them in his pocket and walks off. And I think he was almost posing as a security guard, took the tickets in the panic, and then just walked off with the tickets. Like, unreal. Really unfortunate. But some of the comments which have come out from other football fans and also the French minister's comments was vile. I've got to be honest, his comments were absolutely disgusting. I will address them in a minute, but I just thought it was disgusting. And I think football fans overall, look, as Cardiff fans, people who are Cardiff fans or football fans generally, right? We all know the media, the police, everybody, they all treat us like shit. They hate football fans. Like, how many times you've been blamed for stuff which you didn't do, been just treated like shit, pushed and shoved and treated like you're a subhuman all the time. And I think it's time football fans said, no, this isn't it. Like, the European Champions League final is like, that's the biggest club football match in the world. And to say that the bars in the various parts of Paris are more organized than the actual stadium is ludicrous. And I find it upsetting. I find it disgusting. And it would put me off going to a match in Paris, I've got to be honest. But we had the similar issues in the Euro finals. Obviously, that's been now named that England are going to play their games behind closed doors. So yeah, it's a weird one. Look, luckily no one got seriously hurt. I don't think there was, it could have been so much worse. I think it only would have taken someone to take a tumble, and they would have got trampled because it was so tightly penned. It was so difficult. So yeah, I just look, and I know some people will say, "Oh, well, it's their fault because they were trying to get in with fake tickets." But there's an aspect of that, but that's not everyone. That's not the people who are actually involved in the problems. That's the people who've got to pay for the difficulty, and the people because of other people have caused those problems. So I don't think it's fair to lump everyone in, just as us as Cardiff fans or football fans, we've all been lumped in with idiots before. It's just one of them things. But luckily, no one was seriously hurt. I saw a lot of journalists who got tear gassed, and I saw, what's his name? DJ, who's got a famous dad. Oh, fuck it. I want to say Toby Tarrant, but I don't think that is him. But there was someone on like Capital Radio or something, who was just a DJ, had gone out there and he spilled out everything about like his experience out there. And it was quite like, considering no one got hurt, it was still pretty harrowing stuff to hear the panic and the stuff going on. So for me, I think football fans should stand together and try and really make sure that this type of thing's not happening going forward, because I don't like it. I don't think it's good for football. It's not good for any of us, and none of us. Look, for people who've got kids or nieces and nephews, young kids, if you took your niece, nephew, your kids, young kids to a football match, it's like a dream game, and then you get panic and stuff like that. Like, it's not just not ideal. It'd be scary, and it would put them off. I know, like, I think if that happened to my youngest boy, don't think he'd be interested in going again. But yeah, guys, get your comments in, get your questions in, anything you want to talk about. Scotland played Ukraine last night. So before I talk about the game itself, there was a guy on TalkSport today. I don't know his surname. He was called Stuart someone. He was Scottish. They described him as a Scottish football expert. And he said these words: in hindsight, Scotland should have let Ukraine qualify, and either they played Wales or Wales did the same. And I was like, no, they shouldn't have, you absolute imbecile. They should have played the game, competed for the game. Whoever won went through. Whoever wins the next match goes through. You think those Ukraine players want to be gifted a World Cup place? No, they've competed to get to the playoffs. They've got to the playoffs off their own skill and determination, and now they want to finish the job. It's insulting and embarrassing. And I know, like Craig says there, Graham Souness said something similar. It's honestly absolutely vile. I really bugs me. But and look, do you know what? Onto the game. I believe the reason why the Scots never really were able to get going is, and I think Wales need to learn a lesson from this on Sunday, is look, we all also want to support Ukraine as a country. We all want to put an end to war and all that sort of stuff. Look, we're all behind them. Away from football, we're all behind them, 100%. But what Scotland did is, instead of Hampden Park being the intimidating football atmosphere that it can be, and it can be the 12th man, they were so welcoming to Ukraine that I think it backfired on them. And the players took a long time to get going. And Ukraine are a good football side. And I think it backfired a little bit, the welcoming side of it. And I think Wales have to find a way to look, to be united away from football, of course. And I talk about all the time, like, real life versus football is not even a comparison. But this is a massive game for both countries on Sunday, and Wales have to find a way to be welcoming and united and blah, blah, blah. But then when that whistle goes, or in the 5 minutes before the whistle, it's got to be like a battle. And, obviously there's another word that I could use, which I'm not going to use, but it's got to be that from a sporting perspective. For Wales to win that football match, they need to be absolutely boom from the first whistle, in and amongst them. And I think Wales get an early goal, that's it. I really think they could win comfortably. But equally, I think the tighter it stays, or if Ukraine get ahead, I think it becomes a lot more difficult for Wales going forward. Rob says, Christ, they even had the Scots singing the Ukrainian national anthem. And yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm referring to. And this Stuart guy did say this in amongst his bullshit. He did say some stuff like this. And it is tricky, don't get me wrong, because we all want to support Ukraine. I think you wouldn't be human if you haven't been touched by it. And even watching Zinchenko during some of the games towards the end of the season, and seeing his emotion at winning trophies and last night, and it takes you got to be a bit of a twat to not feel a bit of emotion about that. And it's of course we all feel sorry for them, we all want to support them, but Wales deserve to be in that playoff final. Scotland deserve to be in that playoff semi-final. Why the hell should they give up that opportunity for something which has got nothing to do with them? Nothing to do with sport, nothing to do with football. And yes, we all want to support, as I'll say again, we want to support Ukraine as a country, etc., etc. But it's not Scotland's fault. It's not Wales's fault. And I question whether the same thing would be being said if England were in one of these teams, because then the narrative would be, well, the World Cup just wouldn't be the same without England. Do me a favour. From a footballing point of view, I thought Ukraine were excellent last night. I thought there was one or two players who really stood out. I thought they got into Scotland early on, put Scotland under pressure. To me, Scott McTominay's not a centre-back. Never has been a centre-back. I don't even think he's a defensive midfielder where United play him, but he's certainly not a centre-back. I think he's more of a box-to-box midfielder. He's quite good at attacking, but they had, they were missing Tierney. But I thought the Ukrainian side were very, very good. And there's lots for Wales to think about. In a minute, I'm going to go through some options using the BBC Pick Your Wales side thing. Go through a couple of options for Wales' point of view from the side they might pick to to come up against the Ukraine, and how they can deal with some of those Ukraine threats. For me, I was really disappointed for Wales where they played Poland on Tuesday. Not because the result didn't matter to me massively, but once we got into the lead, I was disappointed that we lost the game. simply because I thought those players deserved at least a point. Though, predominantly fringe players, people like Rabbi Matondo done themselves no harm at all. Very, very good. And I think it's going to be a real fascinating little scenario with this all now, how it plays out, because Kiefer Moore's not played a lot of football at the end of the season, but as soon as he went off against Poland, Wales didn't look the same. However, they didn't have the same players on the pitch when he didn't play more recently, and they did all right without him. They actually did quite well without him. He's been massive for Wales. He's that focal point and allows James and Bale and Ramsey to do their thing. So I'm fascinated to see if he comes in. He got a bit of time on the pitch, but I thought the whole team, those players did a tremendous job against Poland to really make a name, make a stamp claim at least for a starting place. Johnny Williams is one of them who's on his day, he's a fantastic footballer, but he just these last few years hasn't been able to get a real good run of games playing, so it's been tricky. But just looking at the Wales team that started, and obviously we had some substitutions. I thought Matondo was excellent when he came on. I thought Mark Harris did all right when he came on, but he didn't give the same focal point as Kiefer Moore at all. I thought Norrington Davis had a good game. I thought Chris Gunter had an excellent game. Dylan Levitt, pretty good. What's the boy who plays number 9? Burns. That's the one. Rob had a great debut. But I don't think I would pick him ahead of Kiefer Moore. I gotta be honest. Don't think so. But I don't think Wales played 2 up front. They basically played 3-5-2 for this game. I don't think that's the formation they go with against Ukraine on Saturday. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up the Ukraine side, which started against Scotland, so I can have a little look at who we're up against, and I might see if I can get it up on the screen. Burns played wing back, did he? Maybe I'm getting mixed up. 2 people mixed up. I don't know. Rob says Burns played wing back. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting players mixed up. I don't know all the players, mate, these days, especially the fringe ones, which is a shameful thing to say. Right, let me just bring up the Ukrainian-Scotland game side, and then we can go from there. When did they play? Yesterday, wasn't it? So what's the day today? It's Wednesday, so we got, why can't I find it is what I want to know. He was number 9, but he was wing back. There we go. Okay, then. What do I know? Right. But let me know what your sides would be for the Wales. Who do you think should start for Wales? Who do you think should they go with Kiefer Moore? Should they not risk him? I'm interested in who you guys would start at the back. Are we going full hog? Any of the youngsters get a shout? Your Brennan Johnsons, your Wes Burns. Who else? Who would you give a go? Right, here we go. Ukraine side was there. So Ukraine played 4-1-4-1. Interesting. Okay, Wales. Predict your Wales starting lineup. So let's have a look. I don't know what. Shall I see if I can? These people who keep spamming porn links in the chat, doing my boxing. Keep blocking them. They keep coming back. I apologize. I'm doing it. So Rob Boyle straight away says I would put Brennan Johnson over Dan James. Now that's an interesting shout, mate, and we will discuss it right now. So I'm going to share my screen on my other screen now, and we'll bring up the predictor. There you go, so you can see it. Apologies to the audio listeners, but I'm still going to be talking. But it's just going to be a case of play along. Again, guys, do get your questions in. It doesn't have to be to do with what we're talking about. You can ask anything. We'll get involved. So, my first sort of thoughts, if you like, I would go with I'd go with like a 5-3-2 probably. Is there anything which is a bit more 3-5-2? Yeah, can't move them around. So I would go with a 5-3-2. I think the keeper speaks for itself. It's going to be Wayne Hennessy, and then your centre backs. I would go with who we got there. We got Joe Rodon, Reece Norrington Davis. Oh, see, not a massive fan of Rodon. I'm half tempted to put. I really am half tempted. So this is my first draft, okay? So don't no one shout at me. I'm going to go with Chris Gunter in the middle. I'm going to go with Ben Davis to the left. And I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Joe Rodon there. And then I'm going Nico Williams, left wing back. What do we think right wing back, people? I would probably go with Reece Norrington Davis or Connor Roberts. Which one do you reckon? Right, let's go with Connor Roberts for a minute then. So then I'm going in the midfield. See, I've done myself out now. I wanted to put Ampadu alongside Joe Allen, but I don't think that's going to work out right for me and my friends. So I might have to redo this. And then I'm going to go with Ramsey. And then I'm going to go up front, Gareth Bale and Kiefer Moore. However, so that's the first draft. I don't know if you guys can see it. If you can't see it and I'm wasting my time, then let me know and I'll get rid of it and we'll just talk about it. Connor Roberts. So I've gone, for the audio listeners, I've gone Wayne Hennessy in goal, gone right wing back, Connor Roberts, left wing back, Nico Williams. Then I've gone for nice experienced centre-back trio of Ben Davis on the left, Chris Gunter in the middle, Rodon on the right. And then I've gone, I would go with Joe Allen as like your holder. And then I'd have Ramsey and Ampadu either side with Bale and Kiefer Moore up front. However, that layout is not exactly how I would do it. I would have Joe Allen and then I'd have the other two in front of him and probably have Ramsey and Bale like just behind Kiefer Moore. However, there's a couple of people who I would want to be in that side. So I'm looking at immediately Harry Wilson, Brennan Johnson, Daniel James, a three who straight away I am really begrudging to leave out that side. So if I was going to change it up a bit, I would change the formation slightly and go with if we go to the three at the back. Let's go with that one just for the sake of it. So I'd have for God's sake. Right. How do you clear it? I need to clear it. Kiefer Moore up front. And then I'd have Bale, Ramsey, and Daniel James. Yeah, I think I'd go Daniel James. Although, do you know what? Scrap that. I'm putting Brennan Johnson off the right, Ramsey, Bale. Then I would have Connor Roberts as my right wing back. You can't do it that way, so I'm gonna have to change the formation for God's sakes. So yeah, I think I would go with Brennan Johnson as my right wing back, and then I'm gonna I'd go with Brennan Johnson in there, and then I would bring Daniel James on towards the end of the half to kind of give a bit of pace off the bench, if that makes sense to my people. And I would perhaps take Gunter out, put Ampadu at the back, and then Ben Davies rolled on, Ampadu at the back. Nico Williams is going to go out to the left. But there's a few, it's very difficult to pick, because it's basically coming down to what you need. And obviously with this, I can't move them around but like as easily, as freely as I would normally. But you can't just take them out, which is annoying. I just want to clear it and they won't let me. So I'm interested. Would you go with Ampadu in midfield, guys, or would you go with him in defence? It's a tricky one. And then, Harry Wilson would be very unlucky not to start. So I think one way I think Wales may go is like this. So I've been thinking about this today, actually. One way I think they might go is with so you have Nico Williams left, Connor Roberts right, Rodon and Ben Davies as centre-back, Joe Allen and Ampadu as your holding midfielders, and then you'd have Kiefer Moore on the bench, and you go with Gareth Bale as your striker. I'm just going to mess that up a minute. So you have Gareth Bale as your striker. You have Harry Wilson as your sort of number 10. And then you have your Aaron Ramsey and either Brennan Johnson or Daniel James. I just think with Daniel James, he's so dangerous for Wales. It's a choice of whether you want to give Brennan Johnson the lift of starting because his form's been so good, and then you've got Daniel James off the bench with his speed. It's going to cause all sorts of issues late in the game. I think that's a good one. Owen says, I think Rodon, Ampadu and Davis are the three, and then Roberts and Nico on the flanks. Craig says Allen and Ramsey with Bale, Wilson and Brennan Johnson up front. I think by playing Bale as the number 9, it allows you to get an extra player in there. Kiefer Moore, if you put Kiefer Moore as the number 9, it takes away one attacking player. Like, I think, so the side I've just put there is a 4-2-3-1 side. You've got Williams and Roberts giving you a nice bit of width. You've got Joe Allen holding, but then you've got Ampadu's grit and speed and athleticism next to him. Rodon and Ben Davies, experienced centre-backs. You've got Harry Wilson in the number 10 role, buzzing in and around, or even Aaron Ramsey as the number 10, and Wilson and Brennan Johnson then either side. And then you've got the likes of Daniel James, you've got Sorba Thomas, you've got Dylan Levitt, you've got Ruben Corwell, you've got Matt Smith. There's lots of players in there. Johnny Williams off the back of a goal. Wes Burns. There's a lot of players. The one for me, like Rabbi Matonda, is one so for me, the players who, if we just leave that starting 11 as it is, the players who scare Ukraine coming off the bench for reasons are Kiefer Moore for his height, Rabbi Matondo for his skill and ability, Daniel James for his pace. If they see Wes Burns, they see Ruben Corwell, Mark Harris, Johnny Williams, I think, and this is no disrespect on my side from those players, it's purely from the way I think the Ukraine would view it. I don't think they'd be as intimidated, and maybe that would work in their favour as also, because they're all very skillful, very capable players. So that's the side I'm leaning towards at the moment. what do you guys? Who would you? So if I give you all, you've got one change you can make from my side there. Who would you change? Hennessy, Roberts, Roden, Ben Davies, Nico Williams, Ampadu, Allen, Brennan Johnson, Harry Wilson, Aaron Ramsey, and Gareth Bale. One change you can make. Who would you change? You bring Ryan Giggs back in as the manager. That's what you'd do. I'm so funny. So I'm interested. What would your change be? And then I'll confirm on my team, and then we'll do an all-out attack side, which I think would be interesting. But yeah, well, like, guys, what would you do with that? Like, what would you change from my team? Who would you change? Come on, quick, go, go, go. Who would you change? Who would you change? Tell me. First person to tell me gets a point. Bunch of slow coaches. You slow coaches. It's because my side is perfect. No one would change anything. Okay. Last chance to change anything from my side before I confirm it. Look at that. I must have the perfect side that nobody wants to change anything. What a legend. Pick the perfect side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Confirmation. So that's my official pick. What I would pick as the side. Okay. More as a super sub. Yeah, I think have it with that side. What I like about that side, Craig, is the one that I've just picked there, and I'm going to share to social media. Is what I like about it, mate, is that off the bench you can have Daniel James, you can have Ruben Corwell, you can have Kiefer Moore, you can have Rabbi Matondo, all off the bench without disrupting the team too much. So if Harry Wilson doesn't work, you can move Bale back, put Kiefer Moore on, or you can just slot in Ramsey into the number 10. You slot in then Matondo out wide or whoever. There's lot of Daniel James. There's lots of options. Brennan Johnson doesn't work. You've got Daniel James and stuff. And then even going a bit deeper, if Allen gets a bit tired, Ampadu can switch to a more holding position, and you could bring in like a Johnny Williams to do a bit of a quarterback role. And there's lots of options with the Welsh squad. Just before we move on from like the kind of picking of the teams, I'm going to do another one, but I'm going to go in a championship manager style all-out attack formation. And what I would do if Wales were feeling particularly naughty and like they just wanted to put the game to bed early, be super aggressive, this is what I think they could go with. So we'll go with a 4-3-3. We'll go with Danny Ward in goal, just because Danny Ward's a legend. And then the 3 would be Gunter, Ethan Ampadu, and Davis. There your 3. And then you go on the right, you have Daniel James. On the left, you'd have Nico Williams. You have Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey. You go Harry Wilson. What an attack inside this will be. And then up front, you're going to go with Rabbi Matonda. You're going to go with Kiefer Moore and Gareth Bale. There you go. How about that for an all-out attack inside? All-out attack inside. Liking that. Ramsey and Harry Wilson as your central midfielders. Daniel James as your right wing back. Nico Williams as your left wing back. And then Matondo, Kiefer Moore, and Gareth Bale all up front. Poof! Be smashing them 7-0. Right, guys, if you've got any questions, get them in. I'm going to switch off the old sharing screen now. We've had our little fun, our tactical play. I'm going to stop sharing that. I'm back. My face is as beautiful as ever. And I just posted that to the socials. So yeah, guys, what would you like to talk about? How do you see the game progress? How do you see the game playing out on the weekend? On Sunday, do you think it's going to be tight? Do you think it's going to be quite free scoring? Do you think Wales will win? Do you think Wales are too confident and Ukraine are dangerous? I'm interested in your views. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're going for. Tell me what you want to know. Instantly, if you don't follow us on Twitter, please do so. We are 4 followers away from 700. It's one of the smallest kind of social media followings we have on any of the old socials. So if you can share us, then please. If you can follow us, please do. It helps us out a lot. Rob Boyle is going 3-1 to Wales. Bale, Wilson, and Roden. Is that using my super attacking side, Rob, or is that using the proper side, like as you should? I'm interested. Everyone wants to use my super attacking side, I think. There was something else I was going to talk about, which irked me earlier in this week, and I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, do you know what? I'm going to talk about that on Thursday, and then I've completely forgotten what it was. Just on the general news front, a few little tidbits. Rudiger's joined Real Madrid. I don't think that's any surprise to anyone. And Juan Mata is leaving Manchester United. I thought he was going to stay as a coach, but it must have been a rumor rather than a cemented thing. But yeah, let's have a look. What do you think of your team's transfer business, if they've done any so far? What do you think of your team's transfer business so far? I kind of had a little say on Cardiff's last week. I feel that it's good, but there's a worry there with experience and stuff. And I worry that we're so skint and we're trying to be so careful and clever with money that it might come back to bite us on the arse in a big way. But I'm interested what you guys think of your various teams. Sunday. So get your questions in. Pogba is officially gone, is he? Has he now? Yeah, look, it's a weird one. I don't think you can doubt his ability. I think you can doubt his application. He was there for what? Since 2000. When did he go back to United? 2018 or something. They won a trophy the first season, obviously won the Europa League, and then it's very underwhelming. Like, he'd have a couple of good games and then he'd be shocking. I think actually one of his best games was when they came back from 2-0 down at half time against Man City and won 3-2 when he scored 2. Just didn't do it enough. I do think they didn't play to his strengths, but he's got to take a look at himself and I question whether he had the right attitude at all times. I don't think he did, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go somewhere, and if they play to his strengths, he'll be unbelievable. Would not doubt it for a second, because one thing he's got is a ridiculous amount of ability as a footballer. He's very, 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 very good. So get your questions in for me. Get your questions in for me. Let's have a look. Craig says, just want Wales to win. Nobody on the pitch after, so we can show our class. There's been some sort of warning, hasn't there, about pitch invasions? Don't think there's a need for it. 2-1. Owen says 2-1 to Wales for me. Late consolation for Ukraine. I think it's vital Wales get out of the blocks quick, and I think an early goal will settle any nerves. And then we've got enough mix of attacking options and experience to really do them some damage. Like, I feel like that's going to be real good. I think it's vital, though, we get off to a great start and we put them under pressure, like really early on, really high press, and make them make a mistake, because they're going to be nervous. We're the home team. The Cardiff City Stadium has been rocking for Wales games, absolutely rocking. Doesn't seem to suffer from the same problems that it suffers from atmosphere-wise with Cardiff games. And I just think, yeah, let's go. Get it. Electric start. Welcome the Ukraine before the game. As soon as that, like, to me, from 15 minutes before kickoff, sorry, it's all out. No surrender. Ukraine are very, very strong. And Craig, you make a great point. They were unbeaten in the group. Anyone who thinks it's going to be an easy game, I think you're kidding. You could be in for a shock. And do you know what? Out of Scotland and Ukraine, I really wanted to play Scotland because I felt like it was an easier game, which I think should tell you how much I think, how good Ukraine are, because obviously a Scotland-Wales game brings up other issues. It's an all UK game, so the atmosphere is different. The pace of the game is different to a normal international. And I would have rathered that than play Ukraine. I think it's going to be difficult. There's going to be a lot of pressure on us because we're the home side. But also, I kind of think the fact that everybody else wants us, everyone hates us on Sunday. Everyone wants Ukraine to win, other than the Welsh people. So that can benefit us, I think, massively. I really believe that. I think that there's something real good you can use that siege mentality. Everyone hates us. Everyone wants us to lose. So let's just get in there and do the job. Be professional. Be ruthless. Take your chances. And I think it'll all work out nicely. But whether it does or not is another. It's going to be a nerve-wracking afternoon, I can say that much. Rob Boyle says, any more guests coming up? So, yes, I'm filming a couple of shows next week. I'm finding football is particularly difficult to get hold of at the moment, and football-related guests. It's just one of them things. It's time of year, end of the season, all that sort of stuff. But I am trying. We'll have some news and stuff probably over the next couple of weeks with things going forward. The plan initially was me and Rhodri was going to, once after this week, and maybe, next week as well, we'll be talking about the playoff finals and the Europa League and stuff. The Nations League and stuff. We were then going to try and get a different guest in over the summer each week or every other week, depending on how it worked out. However, I'm not 100% sure what the direction is going to be like. So I have to bear with me, basically. And then we'll see where we go. I appreciate you all massively. I appreciate all the support that you've given me and the channel and the different shows over the years. At the moment, I feel, if I'm being honest, I just feel a little bit like things they're not clicking as much as they were, perhaps 6 months ago or 12 months ago. Like a lot of the live shows, the figures are down. Like, people are watching them, they're watching them afterwards and stuff, but the actual live figures and engagements are down a little bit. So, and like, it's easy to say, get footballers on every week, but like it's just not as easy as that. it like I think people don't realize how much time Andy used to spend getting guests for booked and for a week-to-week basis. It took up so much of his time, and that was a big part of why he had to stop when he got the Middlesbrough job, was because, you know, if he could just turn up each week and do the show, that was fine. But he spent so much time trying to chase up guests, sort out guests, book guests, because you don't want to be booking them week to week. You've got to try and book them, you know, a couple of weeks in advance, or you're stressing. And it was very difficult, and he just couldn't do it. I obviously don't have the same contacts that Andy does. I've got a few, and Rhodri's got a few, but like once you kind of get through the initial few, it's difficult, isn't it? And Craig makes a great point. Like, obviously during lockdown, a lot more people were at home watching more content and stuff like that. Now people are out and about and they're going places, and I understand that. I do. It's times are hard at the end of the day. And even though like things like Patreon and stuff like that, and members, I've seen other people, other content creators, sort of bemoaning the lack of members or patrons to their various things. But like, I think what they need to understand is times are hard. Times are hard for all of us. Like, the price of petrol at the moment is just killing me. Petrol and everything's expensive. It's difficult. So even though things are, or it's like £5 a month, or for me it's like £2 a month, I understand that people are, times are hard, and I get it. And that's why I love you guys, all you guys who signed up. I think most of you were in there as well. But there is, for anyone who does want to sign up, there's still, I think, a few spaces left on I made a half price tier for £2.50 to try and entice a few people in. There's a few of those limited spaces left. They'll only be there for a very short amount of time. Once they're gone, they're gone. There'll be no additional ones. No wriggle room with that. So go to patreon.com/Ace Podcast Nation if you haven't already, and you can join. We have a couple of exclusive shows every week and what not. So next week I'm filming 2 shows at Eat Sleep Media. One is with a journalist called Emma Bramford. Really looking forward to that. She's got her own website and YouTube channel and stuff like that. Really looking forward to her. She's traveling down from Swindon, and then that's on, I think it's Thursday. But I'm also got a rapper, Jay Speaks, in, who I'm looking forward to. I really like his stuff. He's worked with some big artists and stuff like that. He's got a really, from what I could tell by his social media, he's got a really different outlook to what, like, you might think a stereotypical musician or rapper or grime artist might have. So I'm kind of looking forward to speaking to him. He seems to have a cool attitude, and that was one of my favorite things when I interviewed Merkage. Was he's not like your stereotypical rapper who's all about like bling and stuff like that. He's kind of got like a big outlook on the world and karma, and it was interesting. I enjoy speaking to different people. It's fun. I like speaking to people. Hoping to get Mark Hudson in there soon. Obviously the season's just finished, so I can actually send him a message now. Should we send Mark Hudson a message? He said he'll come in when the season's over. So I kind of just been giving him a second just to, get himself together, maybe see his family, go away, or all the stuff that the football people like to do at the end of the season. But I'm hoping that Mark will join me. Hoping to get Mehmet Dowland back on for the yearly show. Not sure yet whether that's going to be a live show with me and him, or me, him, and Rhodri possibly, or it'll be recorded in the studio, because I think that could be like a nice change of pace. And then it's just whether we can work out to do it live, or I'll just get all the questions from you guys beforehand and put them to the man himself. But I would think, and I don't want to tempt fate, but I would think that he will be it's yes indeed. So Ian Lanning, former Cardiff City physiotherapist. We're hoping to get him on soon as well. But on Sunday, the 12th of June, at St Fagans Cricket Club, for those in and around Cardiff, there's a cricket tournament, memorial cricket tournament and barbecue for Chris Barker. Starts at midday. I will be there. Also Joe Ledley, Paul Parry, Jason Mohammed, Ian, and a few others will also be there. If you're about and you can make it, please do. Obviously, it's raising money and a memorial for Barks. Please do get involved if you possibly can. 12th of June. So we're gonna be getting ready to. Who's had an operation, Craig? Did you say Mark Hudson or Mehmet Dalman? Don't know which one you were referring to, but I'm interested in which one. Yeah, look. I know, and by the way, please don't think that I was sort of moaning about the live interactions and things like that. I wasn't. I was just merely pointing out that it's changed, and it's difficult. Isn't it? Times are hard at the end of the day, and I'm trying to keep producing different content. That's why I put this out today, because I wanted to still do a show even though Rhodri wasn't available. And I'm trying to come up with different ideas and stuff, thinking about bringing like the conspiracy theory show back and the serial killer files, maybe change it up a little bit. Okay, so Hudson's had a hip replacement as well, is he? Oh, they're dipping them. I've got to have one of them as well. Found out the other day. There we go. I've just shared on my Instagram story the Barks Memorial Cricket Festival and Barbecue. Please do, if you can get involved and come down, please do. It would be fantastic. It's going to be amazing. Really looking forward to that. I'm just a bit gutted I can't get involved in the playing, unfortunately. But it is what it is, my friends. And so Lawrence from Eat Sleep Media and Talk Sport just sent me a picture of his current situation. He is queuing for passports and stuff out in Poland. And oh my dear God, I feel sorry for anyone who's involved in airports at the moment. The amount of people I've seen having holidays cancelled at the airport because the flight. I don't really get what's going on, but it seems like the airplane companies are just refusing to take them, from what I can gather. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Someone could probably tell me more about it. But as always, guys, if there's a certain show you want us to bring back, like the ones I mentioned there, or if there's a certain type of show you'd like us to do, look, I am always open to suggestions. So please do suggest the way. Just let me know. Right, last chance for a couple of the Quezzies. Hoping to have an episode out tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm going to put out an episode tomorrow. I'm hoping. I'm still trying to edit the best of the Andy Campbell show. I'm going to do a bit more tonight. It's taking it forever. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a really good one. It's just it takes a long time for someone like me to edit. And it's impossible for me to get Jamie, who does my other editing, to do it, because it's just I've got to pluck the videos from the shows and then pluck the videos and the clips, the bit I want, and it's difficult to get someone else to do that. So yeah, I'm doing it. It's coming and it'll be worth it. It's just taking a bit of time for me to edit it. I've also got a My Story with James Lilly coming. That'll probably come out on Tuesday, I think now. But yeah, last chance for a couple of questions, my people. This Sunday on the Fight Show, we have got Mason the Dragon Jones joining us. from America. Mason is obviously a Welshman. He was a 2-weight division champion in Cage Warriors, now signed in the UFC. Big things expected of him. So if you want to see, I know some of you guys don't necessarily like into the fight stuff, but got lots to talk. We got Mason in for the first sort of hour, and then we'll have Ben Doherty on to talk boxing. And there's a few bits of boxing stories. Joe Cordina's fighting on Saturday as well. So that's also going to be very interesting. Interesting stuff. So yeah, guys, if you've got anything which you kind of like would like to see us doing on the show, on the channel, like suggestions for whatever it may be, suggestions for clips, suggestions for shows, anything which you think would be entertaining, let us know. I always thought the show we tried initially with Kev would have been good, where we were reacting to like funny football clips. I thought that would be quite a good little online show, but we kept getting copyright struck. One idea I did was to do a reaction show live on like Sunday league clips and stuff where you can't get them copyrighted, but don't know if that'll work or not these days. I just don't know. I'm in a crisis of confidence in terms of what works and what doesn't. These shows are really hard to do, the one-man shows, but like I said, I wanted to do something for you guys because we hadn't, because Rhodri was not able to make it, so I wanted to do something tonight and talk about the various stuff. But you guys, you got literally, I would say 60 seconds if you want to ask any further questions, get involved. And indeed, we will get stuck in. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to everyone who has sent in questions and got involved in the chat. I know it was very difficult to get involved once I'd put my team out, because once I said my starting 11, everyone was like, "Oh, Simon's right. Yep, nothing to say." But now, like, you guys can move on. You can go and you can have the rest of your evening. You've told me I'm right. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'd love chatting to you guys, and I think I will start doing a couple more of these now and again. Probably not the full hour, but like some sort of half-hour lives, because I do enjoy them. They're tricky because it's just me talking to myself basically. But a massive shout out to Craig, to Owen, to Rob. Who else was there? Lorna was there earlier, I think, and just James Costley, huge Owen. Yeah, just a massive shout out to you lads and lasses. Really appreciate the support, and thanks again for all you Patreons for signing up. And if you haven't signed up already, you can get the £5 tier for about £2.50 at the moment. So get involved, get yourself some exclusive content to listen to or watch. But as always, it's been a pleasure. Me and Rhodri should be back next week to discuss, hopefully, Wales's victory in the Wales player final. Might do a watch along on Sunday, but we'll see. Take it easy, my friends. Be good.